Listeners, I'm proud to have a new sponsor today, Hulu Plus. Use Hulu Plus to take total control and watch your favorite shows. Do it whenever the hell you want, wherever you want. Catch shows like Parks and Recreation, Family Guy, Law & Order, SVU, and more. Grab your extended free trial of Hulu Plus now by going to huluplus.com/chat. That's huluplus.com/chat. Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. How the hell are you? Have you missed us? We've missed you so horribly, the wheels have come off the cart. I'm not sure even if this is going out right now. I see that it's on the monitor. I sense that it's happening. But up until maybe 5 seconds ago, this particular shuttle was not launching. We're just back from New York, and boy, is my attitude tired. I don't know which one to. Principal photography began on my feature film directorial debut. I'll give you a moment with that. Did it sound as pompous to you as it did to me? Sammy, yes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
Very much.
The likes of, it's called Misery Loves Comedy. We started with 20 or 30 comedians that were going to talk about the world of comedy, and it's expanded now to about 60. Filmmakers, actors, boy, every walk of the comedy world, writers.
Sam
Levine, Robert Smigel. Never see them in the same room together, by the way.
Misery Loves Company.
No, comedy.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I knew it sounded vaguely familiar.
We did a thing with a thing.
Yeah.
You take a known thing.
Now it makes sense.
You spin it on a
That's very good.
like a dreidel. Now it's fine.
Now that's very good.
So we spoke to Louis Black, Whoopi Goldberg, Alan Zweibel, Jim Gaffigan, Mike Birbiglia, Caroline Hirsch of Caroline's on Broadway, as well as the head of a PR for the last 15 years, Greg Charles, who named names. Just gonna say it. The master of PR there, that historical New York venue, Opie Anthony and Jim Norton, the three of them individually, and then Amy Schumer, the great Eddie Brill, great stand-up and booker of Letterman for the last many years, Janine Garofalo, Bobby Cannavale, and he's like, what am I going to say? I don't know something. I'm an actor. I don't understand. And then was fucking hilarious for an hour. Just ridiculous.
So he thinks of himself as an actor now.
Well, technically.
I see how it is.
Technically. But I got him to do Richard Kind, so that was great.
There you go.
And then Jimmy Fallon, who recorded 2 shows of his, 2 nights of his show, back to back, and then gave us an hour. And then when we finished, cut, the last question is, do you have to be miserable to be funny? He answers that, cut. And he goes, oh, I just thought of another thing. And had us crank our cameras back up so he could add. It just gave until we said, you know what, Jimmy, we got to go. Right. It's awkward now. Yeah, everyone was stupendous. We filmed, I think, 15 people there in our 4 days. And we start again tomorrow with about another 45. So it's very excited. We'll keep you posted. We're expanding so much that there's a Kickstarter campaign. What? Yeah. So if you're interested at all, go to the Kickstarter, look for Misery Loves Comedy. Do whatever you can. There's some pretty spectacular prizes. Hell, you could have an executive producer title on the film if you want. Do you have that kind of money lying around? Go check it out. But all kinds of stuff yeah, go look. So anyways, that's kind of been what's going on. And Jamie, what else can we say about New York other than Josh Charles' wedding wedding party where you got to dance with Sam Rockwell and the world stopped?
It was pretty spectacular. I wasn't letting it go though, and I yelled at the DJ because the DJ like was playing horrible music and like cleared the dance floor at some point, and then I got in his face and I was like, "You got to put something else on so I can muster up the courage to get Sam Rockwell to dance with me," and I did.
Yeah, and the DJ did not take well with that.
No, he was not pleased. He said I insulted his profession. He did.
Not just him professionally. You insulted his entire profession.
Yes, the whole profession.
Of the disc jockey.
Yes. I said, "You're killing the room here, buddy."
Yeah, that's the
He's
quote.
like, "You realize how insulting this is to me in my profession."
And you said, "Victory, mission accomplished."
I also enjoyed from that that wedding party was the enthusiasm in Paul Rudd's air guitar.
Oh my God!
He's just
and he just came in out of
face.
nowhere. He was
Yes.
outside forever. The dancing had been going on for at least an hour and a half, and he's a hoofer. Let's not kid ourselves.
Well, you know, he's a former professional party animal.
And DJ,
Yeah.
as we found out
Yeah.
on this very show. So yeah, he did come in, and you're right. There was an air guitar moment that was only embraced among drunk people. Otherwise, you'd say, "Hey, Paul, seriously, stop it. What are you doing?"
No, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of
And a very lovely wedding reception.
really was.
Richard
sweet.
Kind never stopped eating.
Richard Kind had food in his hand
The
or
entire
mouth for
time.
4.5 hours.
Yes.
Which is, if I may, not a simple
But
thing.
except, no, you know what? I'll take that back.
Wait.
Except whenever he was twirling some ladies around the dance floor, if
He
you recall.
did.
He had some moves.
He cut a little bit of a rug.
He had some moves.
With that Shrek body
Oh,
of
and
his.
Showalter with his... Showalter's like a marionette.
Oh, the
killing me,
Michaels
too.
were there, yeah.
Yeah, the
Michael
Michaels were there,
Showalter
but
was.
Showalter has like marionette moves. He's like, it's great.
There are two things that strip mankind, especially men, if I may, to the absolute base level, which is, you know, there's that famous getaway from show business to the island of Maui every fucking Christmas. So you would go to the Four Seasons, this is 20 years ago, but I'm sure it takes place even today, and you would see everyone from the heads of the 5 families, the studios, the networks, in bathing suits standing by the pool. And now there's 16 again. Doesn't matter who they are, how many billions of dollars they're running. And the same thing with dancing. You can put any level of success on a dance floor and feather in a little alcohol.
Yep.
And
Well, I think at the end of the day, that just confirms that we're all white.
as it turns out. Those of you watching and or listening, if you'd like to write to us to comment on Sam's comment of "we're all white,"
On the dance floor.
write to contact.
And at this wedding party, it certainly seems. There seems to have been no rhythm whatsoever at this party.
You ain't wrong. Write to us, though, at contact@kevinpollixchatshow.com and let us know what you think of Sam's comment, which I'm guessing will be viral by Wednesday.
My comment that white people are worse dancers than black people, yes.
Mm-hmm.
How controversial of me.
You know why? It's because, you know, black guys drive a car like this. White guys drive a car like this.
These are fun times. We missed you. We've been away for a while. We're so glad to be back. My guest today is spectacular. I'm super excited. We're going to get to him in a second. Upcoming shows, Ben Folds, October 13th, live sitting in this very studio. I'm pretty damn excited about that. And Academy Award winner Jim Rash, thanks to our own Sam Levine, October 27th. Will be sitting here. He, the Academy Award for writing The Descendants, also the vice principal on Community. And then
No,
also-
he's the dean.
sorry. What,
He's
did
the
he start
dean.
as the vice principal?
No.
No, I just think of him, that's what he
You know
looks
what I was just reminded of because they just started running it in syndication? I forgot that you're thinking of. John Oliver was on the first, have a handful of episodes.
like. And Bingo was his name-o.
That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Because I forgot about that, too. I was like, oh, that's right. John Oliver was originally on this show.
Anywho, so he'll be here. And I think Ken Marino next Sunday. Yeah, we'll let you know. Follow us on the Twitter, you sons of bitches. Well, you got to put pressure on me. You're watching us on the YouTube. We stream live on the Sundays on the YouTube. I always post the link on the Twitter. And then afterwards, perhaps you're listening to us on the Earwolf. We love our friends at Earwolf. We're very excited to be a part of that particular comedy network of the podcasting world. Write to us at contact@kevinpollixchatshow.com and let us know how the fuck you're doing the show. How are you doing the show? How do you do KPCS? And write in your Larry King games as well. We'll get to that. If you're here in the Los Angeles area this Thursday, I'll be doing the Talk and Walk and the other podcast where I ramble as Christopher Walken for an hour. You're not buffering. See, they got the little buffering gag on the spinning wheel for the 4 people watching versus the other listening. Talking Walking at the West Side Comedy Theater in Santa Monica, September 19th, with our old chum, Scotterick?
Hot Saucerman.
Hot Saucerman. But what is Scotterick?
Scottrick?
Scottrick.
Oh, yes.
That's what Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Andrew Lloyd Webber calls him Scottrick.
Past week, yes.
Scott Ackerman.
Scottrick.
Scottrick. All right, that's all the business. And now we introduce our guests. Born and raised in Passaic, New Jersey, at least that's what it says on the internet. What more do you need to know? Wikipedia. Please welcome Tom Pop. But all sorts of parts of New Jersey. In fact, you and the missus met at a different part of New Jersey, or you went to kindergarten at a different
That's right.
New Jersey.
In northern New Jersey.
Yeah.
Park Ridge, New Jersey.
What? I love this. You and your wife, when you meet many years later, find out that you both had Ms. Connolly for kindergarten.
Very close, Miss Conway.
Yay! Wow, that is close. If you're going to fuck it up, internet.
Yeah.
And I, of course, make the change
Connolly?
in my copy.
Yeah, Miss Conway.
Miss Conway.
That's how I picked her up.
Did you have Miss Conway? That's what
Yeah.
you said?
Yeah. She was a comedian at the comic strip.
Right.
And
Not Miss Conway.
We're in the back. Yeah, we're in the waiting to go on in the back room, and it was Thanksgiving. And I says, "Where do you live? Where are you going home tomorrow?" She said, "Oh, you don't know. It's a small place in New Jersey." I said, "Well, where?" She said, "Park Ridge." I said, "Oh, did you have Miss Conway for kindergarten?" She was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I had her too," and she was like a year ahead of me. Had the same, and then I moved. Like in 3rd grade.
Yeah, you were gone.
I was gone to one town over.
Sure.
And
Because that's what you do in Jersey.
we're moving up, but not too high. And we had the same summer jobs all through high school. We worked at this Hilton Hotel. I was in the orchards wearing my green bow tie. She was in the
Sure.
Never met. Same parties, same everything. Don't meet until we're in our late 20s in New York.
Kids, if you're out there, if you're looking for a closer, did you have Miss Conway? That's it.
Yeah, you're in. You'll wrap it up.
They're telling me my laptop is in frame. I'm getting these notes from the producers out in the outer. And guess what? Yeah, fucko. The printer ain't working, so I'm pulling a Fallon and having my Apple computer on the desk.
Oh, is that going to be a endorsement? Is that a new sponsor?
It is now.
Yes.
Until we get letters.
Yeah, they sponsor us by letting us pay through the nose for their fine products.
Yeah. Bingo.
I was with Richard Kind once playing golf in a celebrity golf thing, and he's like a real avid golfer, knows all the rules. I'm just starting. I don't know what to do. I just had a TV show, and they're like, you have to golf because this is what you do, and you're going to meet famous people. I was like, all right, I'll learn how to golf. And I had no clue what to do, and I'm driving the cart, and Richard's sitting in the cart, and every time you would put the ball into the thing, it's all over. You come back, and I'd want to fill out the card. I got a 6. You got a 6, and he's like, no, you don't fill the card out. You get in the cart, get out of the way for the people behind you. Go to the next hole, then you can take your time and fill out the card. And I keep forgetting because I'm not thinking. I don't know what's going on. And the whole day was me putting, walking over to the cart, getting inside the cart, taking out the scorecard, and Richard Kind next to me going, "Move the cart, move the cart, move the cart."
That's pretty great.
Holes.
That's pretty great. 18 holes of move the cart.
Move the cart, move the cart.
But you just move the cart.
I think Sam now has to tell Richard Kind's story.
Sammy?
Because we've all shared one today.
We have so many.
It's kind of a great
He's the
thing.
best.
He's the center of all truth.
My most recent one, it's a quick one. It's so my NBC show Do No Harm, which as you know met an untimely end very quickly. I haven't seen Richard in a year, maybe, and I see him at an Oscar party. My show has just been canceled. And I see him coming down the hall, and he looks at me and he goes, "Boy, can you sink a show!" First words out of his mouth.
That's what you want to hear when the show gets canceled.
You really do.
Yeah,
you really do. You actually do. You want to feel like I did a charity thing for the Hole in the Wall gang, you know, the Paul Newman thing, and I went and did a show for them, and I walk in backstage, and this is after the marriage ref is canceled, and I walk in and what's his name is, I'm blanking on his name, Broadway, Nathan Lane is sitting there the same way. I come walking and he says, Tom, is the marriage ref coming back? I said, no, it's canceled. Good for you. And you actually do feel better. You're like, we should be laughing about this. I shouldn't be worrying about how am I going to eat. I should just be excited that comedians are making fun of it.
Well, let's talk about those bizarre. When you start out in stand-up, in your case, do you have any sights on someday I'll be acting for Steve Soderbergh, or is it just I want to be a great stand-up?
I wanted to be a great stand-up, and I wanted to be on television. I wasn't even thinking film.
And the television capacity was like starring in your own show?
Yeah. I always saw it as being like a family-type sitcom.
Where's
thing.
Papa?
Yeah, something like that. And the first one I took a shot at was called Come to Papa.
Right.
And it lasted 4 episodes.
Sure.
But yeah, I always thought, I remember saying when I was at Stand Up New York, in New York, doing my thing, and an agent was there, and he said, so what do you want to do? I said, I want to be on TV. I want my own TV show. And he was like, no one says that. I was like, well, what do you mean? He said, well, everyone thinks movies, and then if that doesn't work out, I'll go on TV. I said, no, I want to do a show. That's where I saw comedians go and do things, and that's what I wanted to do.
In specifics, Seinfeld, Cosby, which one did? Roseanne?
All in the Family, Roseanne, Cosby. Yeah. I never saw it as being the hip, cool. I never saw it as being the Seinfeld culturally relevant hip thing, you know what I mean, in the lexicon.
Right.
I just saw it as family-based.
Family.
That's where I kind of came from. I have a large family. It's where a lot of my writing goes, and I just always saw it in that environment.
Right. When you're, so let's just jump to, forget the 4 episodes. Let's just jump to, okay, dream come true. You get Come to Papa. Mm-hmm. It's going to be an NBC show?
NBC show.
Yeah. All right. So then.
It happened too early.
Ah.
I really wasn't prepared for it. It wasn't the family sitcom I was thinking of. I didn't really have kids yet. I wasn't there yet. I really kind of stumbled into the show. I did.
By the way, here's right where my brain went. The comedy thought bubble cartoon.
Yeah.
You are on the lot at Warner Brothers, and you stumble through a door, and they're rehearsing a show, and they go, "Here he is, finally!"
Pretty much.
Yeah, we met you at the table read, Tom. Come around, you start there. Your mark is by the couch.
It's not far off.
Really?
I had this like 1990 Saab.
Sure.
With jersey plates on it,
mm-hmm.
and it's just parked outside of the lot at Warner Brothers. It's outside the studio, and it looked like I just drove in off the 5 and walked in and started doing a show.
Uh-huh.
And it's not far from how it happened. I'd been doing stand-up for, 9 years, and I had this weird moment where my wife was pregnant with our first child, and she had 2 weeks to go, and
not a great time for you to leave.
Not a great time for me to leave. But I have a set on Conan, my first set on Conan in New York. And I'm going to do that set, and then we're going to take 2 weeks off, and we're going to just hang out and wait for the baby. And we're just going to, our last moment as a couple. And so I go and I do Conan. Then we go and meet the Seinfelds for dinner. And Jerry and his wife take us to see Cosby at Carnegie Hall. And we laugh for 2 straight hours. And we go home and our water breaks.
Sure.
And
Cosby will do that.
And Cosby will do that. And her water breaks, we have the baby. NBC sees that Conan set and calls the next day, who is this guy, Tom Papa? Let's bring him out here to talk about television.
By the way, that hadn't happened since the late 80s.
No, it doesn't happen. No, exactly.
Your first one
on Conan, and okay. So we had this great, amazing, weird comic moment. That night was just a weird thing, right? So then So then I come out, and I'm just going, like a little leaf on this roaring river. I'm just like, I guess this is how it happens. No. Oh, now I landed in LA, and I meet with Warner Brothers, and now they give me a showrunner from Friends. Oh, and now we write a really funny script. We're not going to be hacky about it. Oh, now everyone loves it at the table read. Oh, now we're going to make it. Oh, then I guess we'll be on TV.
The pilot gets picked up.
And
your first pilot.
So we have the upfronts, which that's when they decide out of the 20 shows that they shoot for the pilot season, which 4 are going to go on the air. And I'm not even thinking we have a shot. I'm like, well, we shot the pilot. We kept going further than I thought we would go. We'll write it. We'll do it. And now I'm in New York, and I walk into the Four Seasons, and there's the people from Warner Brothers like,
sad.
Mid-season, you didn't get picked up. And I was like, great, mid-season, and they're depressed. I was like, oh, they thought we had a shot, and we were actually going to be on the air. And then the story turns.
Sure.
Where the president that loved us and brought us on,
Gets
Jeff
fired.
Zucker, he leaves. A new guy comes in. We're the only show left on the plate. He doesn't like it. He changes it, starts moving it around, and then it drags on for about a year and a half of this limbo.
Yeah.
And then they finally put it on to burn it off in the summer against the NBA playoffs. But there was that part to it. There was all of a sudden when I realized it was real. And I think the naivete was kind of helpful because all I was thinking was just be funny, just try and be funny, just try and be funny, just try and be funny. And then when all the business part of it came in, there was but I felt like I got in the game. I'm here now.
Yeah.
I got enough. I went further than a lot of people I knew. I'm in television. I'm here.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I never took it as, oh, it's over.
I'd like to think that a pal like Jerry would have been able to say to you what you're saying now, in retrospect. But at the time, someone close should have said, none of this happens ever anymore.
Right.
The fact that you went from one Conan shot to
Right.
that
doesn't,
run doesn't actually happen, really.
No.
You go into development hell after the first Conan, and you come out the other end a couple years later saying, I hate show business.
Right, exactly.
Instead.
Yeah.
So
that was my first thing I ever developed.
Extraordinary.
Ever. I did have a call. I did put a call in.
What year was this? I'm so curious.
This was 94.
Oh,
no,
wow.
I'm sorry. 2004.
Oh, okay.
2004.
Which is strange because you would have thought by then NBC would have learned their lesson, what with the Mike O'Malley show. Exactly. 2 episodes, 99.
Who, by the way, hasn't stopped working since.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, that show gets canceled
No.
after 2.
His hat hasn't
His
stopped
hat
working.
hasn't stopped working since.
Man, just keeps going with the hat.
And he comes back 1 year later with Yes Dear on CBS.
Yeah.
Has not stopped working since then.
Right.
But the success of that.
Mike O'Malley
yesterday-
called me as it was being canceled. No, after the first episode or something. And
Of
he
the Mike
called
O'Malley
me and said that he was in Kevin Riley's office and was cheerleading for me and stuff. And he called me and said, it's a good thing. I know you're going through some stuff, but this is a positive thing. This is just push, just go. And he actually, when I started stand-up, we would create these shows in New York. It was me and Jim Gaffigan and Greg Giraldo. And Mike O'Malley was around for a very short time. And he would come in and kill. And I don't think he even had the hat at the point. But he quickly got a show on Nickelodeon. He was the host of some slime show, like one of the original slime shows. And he just literally went off and, Guts. He went off and he never left television.
Yeah, in one capacity or another. And he's on a new show this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty remarkable.
He was great on Justified this last season. I don't know if you watched Justified.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my.
No hat?
No hat and dramatic the whole time.
Right.
And hauntingly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a good guy. But I did get a call from Jerry during the...
He's not dead, by the way.
Well, in comedy, he is. I did get a call from Jerry as it was obvious that it was all going away, and I had been on TV. People had saw my face, and I was like, what's better, that I never showed up on television or that I showed up and got removed really quickly? And he was saying, no, you're up, you're in now, you're up, that happens to everybody, because you're talking to one of the only people who has one show that goes their whole career. usually it's going to bounce around. You're going to do a lot of stuff, and he kind of talked me down for a minute when that was happening. But yeah, that was the crazy intro. And then it wasn't until like the following year when I was like trying to go back, I was like, oh, getting a TV show is not that easy.
Because suddenly you got an agent and a manager and a team.
Yeah.
And then it comes to the next pilot season. You're like, so we're going to get this again, right?
Right. I got an idea. I got a new idea. Let's go.
Can we set up some pitch meetings?
And it takes like another year and a half or something. But the one cool thing about being a comedian, which I realized, the show was canceled, and literally 2 months after that, I'm driving my same Saab back onto the lot to go do the Tonight Show.
Boom.
And I realized, oh, I want the big hit show, but if I don't, they can't really keep me out. As long as I'm funny enough,
as long as I'm funny enough and have that Saab, I'm going to get on the lot.
Right, exactly.
These are the two things I need.
If I don't remove this pass in the windshield of the Saab, I can just keep showing up, drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't Letterman also love you?
Not so much.
No, really? I can't imagine you doing any of these shows and not.
Leno really took a liking to me. Conan, I did like, I don't know, 8 or 9 on there.
Right.
I did probably 12 on Tonight Show. I've only done 2 on Letterman. And the process just got so long. And when I moved out to LA, I just stopped. I didn't have the year to work on it and put it together and go and do it. And I love it. I love him, and I love the show. There's no better place really on the planet to do stand-up comedy.
Than that set.
That's Sullivan, right?
Theater.
Yeah. It's the greatest. It's built for funny. There's nothing. It's literally the best place to do stand-up, and it just happens to be on a major television program.
Right.
And I love it, and I'm actually knocking on their door again to go back, but I just got into the rhythm of doing all the Conans and all of the Lenos and now, I feel like it keeps you sharp. Like to get a really solid spot for any of these shows, you have to really write a lot to get those 5 minutes. And I think it's a good thing to keep you working hard. Yeah. The relevance of what it does for you in your career, it could not be more meaningless at this point.
That's what I'm saying about that first shot on Conan, that it was almost historical that someone from a network saw it and said, who is that kid?
Yeah.
It almost sounds like the 40s.
It does.
Before television.
Yeah, like with a big cigar.
I saw this guy walking down the street last week. He looked funny, see? Get him in here.
Give me that Papa Kid. What are we going to make? How about a fortune? Yeah, it was really pretty bizarre. And just that thing, I just met Jerry, and he's taking me to see Cosby, and my daughter is showing up on the planet.
And LA's calling.
It's weird.
That
was a weird
moment in time.
Totally weird. So then I got my wife pregnant for the second one.
Congratulations.
Nothing happened.
Really?
Went into labor, no one called.
Second daughter's born and nobody called?
No one called.
Cosby wasn't performing nearby?
Jerry wouldn't take my call.
You have 16 kids, because each time you keep hoping.
Right, exactly.
This will be the one that turns it all around.
Daddy
again.
needs a new pair of shoes. Come on, baby.
Yeah. No, it was very strange. But I didn't come away, and I still don't have that. I don't have a bitter aspect to it, because you see what a crazy crapshoot the whole thing is. And being a comedian, you just feel like, well, I'll just keep going and keep working it. I never came away with it with a bad taste in my mouth from the whole experience.
Right.
There were some people that I didn't like so much, but I never really came away like, well, screw that. I'm going back to New York and screw show business.
Yeah, no, I think Jerry might have been the first one to use the phrase that had already been used 1,000 times, but it was the first time I heard it, which was, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon, and you have a number on your back now.
Right.
That was his...
Right.
And...
especially as a comedian. I mean, you're only getting funnier. Every year that you're alive, you're funnier.
Technically.
Yeah, right. I mean, as long as you're working and creating, you can't just lock into an act, then it gets sad. You see those guys that they just kind of ride that hour for their whole life. And, I find
as I drifted away to do movies and stuff, I didn't have any time to focus on the act, and it got stale instantly.
Yeah.
But even then, coming back to it, I could add maybe 5 or 10 minutes every long period of time. It was really a struggle.
Yeah.
And then I started having these first-hand anecdotes take place where I used to do Christopher Walken, but then I met Christopher Walken. And then the act became telling the story where I got to do the impression within the real-life story.
I remember noticing that.
So it was no longer what if Christopher Walken were a busboy.
Right.
You know, it was this thing happened.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, I ran out of stories, and it's tough to write a new act. Because, honestly, I mean, I wrote this book, and the book had more stories in it than I had in the act, so now I'm telling a couple of stories and trying to figure out stories from the book that would work on stage.
Right.
But holy shit, I have neglected my act more in the last 20 years than I did the 15 previous, for sure. Just in terms of, one of the things I want to talk to you about was your ritual, your writing ritual. Because I was always the guy that spun 17 plates, you know, the Sullivan Show. By the way, did you ever see the Albert Brooks thing? Albert Brooks brought out, he used to do the Greatest Tonight Show appearances, you know.
Amazing.
Ridiculous.
I just went down that YouTube wormhole last week.
This one is hard to find. I can't remember where I saw it, but he brought 6 or 7 people up from the audience and had them stand in a line and then did the joke telling as a plate spinning. So a guy walks into a bar, he sees the thing, he says, oh, why the long face? Goes the next guy, gets them laughing. Comes back and forth. So good, okay?
Oh, really?
And like plate spinning, you got all 7 people laughing at the same time.
That's great. I never saw that one.
Oh. So yeah.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
Those spots that him and his brother, Bob.
Sure.
What they put into those Tonight Show
and
spots.
Steve Martin.
I mean, those bits.
Yeah.
They were just.
They were historical instantly. And I remember Steve Martin coming through the curtain. Now, my next guest, please welcome, you all know him, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And he comes bursting through that great curtain, and then he stops halfway. And he said, let me explain. I'm driving here. I was late. I was speeding. Please meet Officer O'Brien. And the guy comes through in a handcuff. And he sits next to him on the panel the entire interview. Another time he had room service delivered from the hotel. Johnny, it's the best room service I've ever had. Forgive me. But I have to have this.
So creative. Albert Brooks, he did that, the...
ventriloquist?
No, the kit.
Oh.
The impressionist kit. And he'd do Kirk Douglas suck on a lemon, and then he would go into, then he would do Three Stooges and sucking on a lemon. And I mean, so damn creative. Now, someone comes out in a T-shirt, and they sit on the, so you've been on the road for a while? Yeah, it's been pretty great. And everyone's laughing like it's hilarious, and it's not. And then they show his show, and then he leaves. It's just like, man, what happened?
Where's the fucking effort?
I know.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, it's also who could do that. I mean, those guys. Will Ferrell kind of pulls that off.
Yes, he does. He's a great example of a current day.
Yeah.
Where's Ed? He did it on Conan. He wasn't even on the Tonight Show. He was on Conan, right? He said, "Where's Ed?"
Yeah, he's doing
Robert
Goulet.
Goulet.
Yeah, he's doing Goulet.
Right.
He's like, "Where's Ed? On vacation?"
Where's Ed on vacation?
Yeah.
And he's on Conan.
And he would always call Conan Johnny.
Yeah. Good to be in Burbank.
Yeah.
This is back when they were filming in New York.
Right.
Like, this is
Oh my
pretty-
God.
Yeah. No, so it's still out there, I guess.
They're telling me mid-roll time. Got a couple ads to read.
Oh. Ka-ching.
Well, that's the crew
Yeah,
laughing.
not the crew. The crew laughing.
Nothing, by the way, nothing felt less pompous from you saying that I'm directing this movie to when you then put Kickstarter in.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. We're a greenlit picture, and by the way, if you want to help us finish. Yeah, you know, it's so funny and so true instantly, because like every film now in a lower budget has to have that element.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, you want music, don't you? Yes, I thought we were completely funded. We are, but... So, yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Do you know anyone in Dubai?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good luck sounding pompous with the word Kickstarter in your explanation of your directorial debut, Mr. Feature Film. All right, here we go. A couple of mid-rolls, just because I like to have sponsors so that the crew can stop staring at me. You like watching this show, so you must like quality entertainment. Hulu Plus wrote that, by the way. That's not more pompous. Go to Hulu Plus for all your television and movie needs. Hulu Plus has the world's best digital collection of entertainment content. It's the most convenient way to binge on whole seasons of your favorite programs as we like to call them, and discover new ones as well. Use Hulu Plus on connected TVs, game consoles, Blu-ray players, Roku, Apple TV, PC, or your smartphone, you son of a bitch, or tablet on demand at all times. Watch hits like New Girl, The Mindy Project, along with reality TV like the classic Real World. How is that still on? It's already inexpensive enough, but you don't have to pay. Try it free. HuluPlus.com/chat. That's right. Just for being a fan of this show, you get it for free. It's a great way to watch TV and support this damn podcast. It's the best way to let them know we sent you and to keep us in your face and in your ears for free. There's no reason not to try it. I guarantee you'll love it. I use it my own damn self, and I ain't just saying that because it says it here in the copy. I am saying it actually because it says it here in the copy, but this time I mean it. Get that free trial at HuluPlus.com/CHAT and start watching TV like you always dreamed of doing it. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice. Let's see how this next one goes.
Oh, there's two.
Yeah, back to back.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about your Sirius radio program and doing live reads yourself. Hey, let's take a second to thank our sponsor, Robot Oatmeal, everybody, for sponsoring today's episode of Kevin Pollak Chat Show. Robot Oatmeal, you're wondering, is an awesome online couponing site that aims to take the frustration out of trying to save money. Sammy, you're going to like this.
You know I like a good coupon.
I do. Even though the web is flooded with discount codes, it can be so damn hard to find coupons that are currently valid and that offer the best deal available. Expired coupons will stay up there for weeks on other coupon websites before they are taken down. Robot Oatmeal is different. Robot Oatmeal shows you when coupon codes were last used by verified buyers. If you see a code that was reported as having been used within the last 2 minutes, you can be sure that the code is valid. Robot Oatmeal's coupons are easy to search and they're free. Repeat, free.
What?
Yes.
Free coupons.
Exactly. They've got over 5,200 e-retailers on their website, so go check them out. Go to Google and search Robot Oatmeal for the first must up-to-date coupon codes on the web. Don't forget to search Robot Oatmeal next time you shop online. All right, let's
Why
get back.
is it, though, that whenever I Google Robot Oatmeal, I just get photos of Johnny Five with Quaker Oats?
You're not trying hard enough?
Come on, that was kind of funny. Nobody thinks I'm funny.
Robot's a good walking word.
It's a great walking word. Explain the reference.
You should have gone with Gort.
Ah.
No, of course I'm going to go with like some shitty movie from the 80s. Yes, I'm going to go with Johnny Five from Short Circuit. Sorry.
See? I missed that Grant Hesloff classic. Wasn't he in Short Circuit? No.
He would have been.
When you got
Bailey
turned on to doing movies,
Yes, sir.
were you thinking I'm not going back to stand up because this is so much fun?
Interesting. The gold rush of the stand-up comedy world, the late 80s, peaked in around 91, 92.
Mm-hmm.
A Few Good Men came out in 92, and I went from having to audition to getting offers. That timing was such that as the comedy stand-up world was evaporating,
Right.
I was getting offers to be in films, having not had any formal training as an actor, and simply could not believe this was fucking happening.
Right.
So it was real easy to take a break.
Yeah.
And
then you worked consistently from
the
that
90s
point, so-
were very. Janine Garofalo said this on on the film the other day. She was talking about, well, I don't get any offers to do movies anymore, so my stand-up act is really strong again.
Right.
She said the 90s are great, and I thought, oh, right, the 90s. Yeah, they did, they did at the millennium. 2000, the end of the millennium.
Yeah.
There were all these lists, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I made one of these lists, which was just for the decade, not the whole 100 years.
Yeah.
The 90s. Hardest working men in films. You had to have done at least 3 movies per year, each year of the 90s to make this fucking list. It was me and Sam Jackson and like 6 other guys.
Really?
Ridiculous.
Holy
and I realized,
cow.
you know what? 4 of those movies were good. What about all the others?
But
and that's the
man.
thing about comedians. You know, we're in that world you start out where it takes forever to say no
Yeah.
to an offer.
Right.
Forever.
Forever.
In fact, do you remember the first time you said no to New Year's Eve? This, to me, became the watershed moment of success.
Yeah.
Because it always paid 2 or 3 times a normal weekend.
That's right.
It's New Year's.
Yeah, and being able to go, you know what? No, I'm going to stay home with my family.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when it was, or you just remember that it was?
Ballpark.
Right.
Yeah, ballpark.
So
yeah.
How great was that?
Oh, yeah. And scary because you never say no.
No. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So the 90s came, and these, right?
My friend Daniel Taj, he has a great line where he says, no, this is the way the show business goes. You say yes until you can afford to say no. And that's really the way it goes.
Right.
You know, if he didn't have that show, he would be saying yes to
everything.
Yeah, I love the 90s
80s.
and whatever shows came up.
Right.
No, and then when you can afford to, and then...
But it was probably something you announced to your wife. Honey, you know what?
Right.
I'm taking New Year's off. You're what?
Right. Yeah.
As you said, she was a comedian as well. She would appreciate what the hell that...
Yeah, absolutely.
The gravitas.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal.
But you also had Kickstarter.
You also think that you're... there's also a karma part of it. You're scared to say no because you think that, well, then everything's going to turn bad quickly and I will be begging for New Year's.
That's the beautiful thing about, I think, the business in general. It's probably life in general, but it seems a little more highlighted in this business, which is the moment you actually say, all right, I guess things are going well, because you're so afraid to say it.
Yeah.
The nanosecond that thought enters the brain, you're fucked.
Why? Yeah.
Like the very next day, it all falls to pieces.
Do you think that happens for really big stars? Do you think they feel the same way?
I do know that on every level I've seen, they're all looking over their shoulder at the next guy.
Yeah.
You know, Jim Carrey looked over his shoulder and there was Adam Sandler waiting. And before him, Robin Williams looked over his shoulder and there was Jim Carrey.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it really is at that level, that rarefied air.
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart, I remember saying on Cars, you know what? He just said every time he finished a movie, he'd say, "Well, that's it, honey."
Right.
To his wife when he got home. The old blower's not going to ring again.
I'll never work again.
Yeah.
Do you think that because we are superstitious about it, and you feel like it's almost like a confirmed superstition though? Like whenever we talked about how you're in New York, and as soon as you say I'm moving to LA, you get something back in New York. It just happens repeatedly to everybody.
Marriage rep.
Yeah, marriage rep, and I mean it always happens. So it's like a confirmed superstition.
Oh yeah.
So is there really something to it all? Do you think that there's like this kind of karma or magic that is around us that corrects us, or do you think it's just in our heads and we make it happen?
We're making a few more plans than your average bear.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that I'm having a lot of fun talking to comedians and funny people in the documentaries, because a lot of it is who chooses this life and this gypsy existence. You know, the grass is always greener, so if you're working 9 to 5, you know, you think you want the gypsy life, but man, oh man, does the solid ground start to sound good after a little while of the gypsy life.
But, you know, when I graduated college, I started stand-up in '93 when it all fell apart.
Great.
And I showed up and I was like, hey,
where'd everybody go?
There's actually room here. I can get on stage. But I remember thinking that I am going to be this gypsy and this is insane, and all my friends are going to these straight jobs. But you fast forward 15 years from then, 20 years from then, and it was like 15 years from then, all of a sudden the economy shook and all these guys who had these stable plans were in big trouble. And we kept working.
Right.
Show business, I remember in The Sopranos, they're like, at one point he says, the recession hits, he goes, it will be all right. Show business and what we do are not affected by the recession. The mafia and show business. And there was truth to that.
For stand-ups, yes.
Yeah.
For actors, no.
Right.
You could no longer make an extraordinary amount of money as a character actor.
Right.
By the way, studios did not make a dime less. But they finally had this excuse between the DVDs dying and the economy dying. They said, we got no money to pay you. Both lines. Right. You know, Linda Opes, I think, wrote that great book, Hello, He Lied.
Right.
Yeah. They can't wait to come up with a new line.
Yeah.
They've already come up with it.
What is it?
You don't make any money on streaming.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't make any money on that. We can't give you any percentage because we don't know what it is.
We had Brian Fuller here. I don't know if you're watching Hannibal, but he told an amazing story where the network said, "We love the show. You're going to get a second season, but we can't announce it at the upfronts, which is all about the advertisers, because your numbers are horrible. We know only 2 million people are watching, but we have proof that says 5 million people are downloading. But the advertisers don't want to hear about the downloads. We care about the downloads of the network. We love the downloads, but the advertisers don't. Right. So we're not going to mention your show at the upfronts. We're just going to leave a couple of slots open. We haven't decided yet."
Oh, man.
But you're picked up. What the fuck?
Jeez.
The new world.
Yeah.
Tipping your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had 2 other networks saying, "We'll take the show if NBC foolishly lets you go." So they were saying, no. But wow, that's the uploads and the downloads and the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
So Rob Zombie and you, let's talk about this unholy union. The story goes, again, according to the interwebs, that you end up at some sort of a charity retreatish thing where you're both away from home and you're doing the thing and you become friends over the...
Close.
All right. That's all we do here, is we get close.
We get in the ballpark. You rob a location. It was a friend's wedding.
Yes.
A friend.
You know what? If that's exactly what it says here, I remembered incorrectly. Yeah, it was one of those you have to travel weddings.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't do that. Please tell me you didn't do that.
We did.
Oh, great.
It was my...
Why? Where did you ask people to travel to?
We traveled to Gloucester, Mass, where my friend Pete Goldfinger was getting married.
That's not...
Goldfinger.
By the way, there's no better first name for your friend Goldfinger.
Pete.
Pete Goldfinger.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah. There couldn't be a Bond villain named Pete Goldfinger.
Yeah. Harry Goldfinger.
You know the Goldfingers.
Yeah.
But I mean, the
Terrifying
travel
people.
wedding, it seemed like you and Rob met at was what, as friends of the bride and groom, you had to travel to a place to get to the wedding.
Right, exactly. And I rented a big Dodge Mafia-looking car, and Rob didn't rent anything. And you're there for the weekend. You don't know anybody. And I had met Rob once. He came to see me do stand-up, and we became kind of friendly, but we didn't really know each other. And then him and his wife and my wife, we all just hung out. And you know what you do when you travel to a wedding and you don't know anybody, you just make fun of it and you go out and you're always on the outskirts of it. And we just hung out the whole weekend.
And you, once again, collect friends by the similar sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's striking to me.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
You're laughing at the same, you're looking at that fat ant and you're coming up with 10 minutes each on her.
Yeah.
And you're having a good time and it gets you through the wedding. And so we became pals. And he's a very creative guy, a very hardworking, creative animal.
Sure.
He's a zombie, but a hardworking zombie.
Let's not forget that part, though.
So when he was going to do an animated film called Super Beasto, and it was off of a comic book of his, and he wanted me to play the voice. It's like this big Mexican wrestler, huge man's man. And
who else would you think of to do the voice?
He thought, well, how funny would it be if you were the voice? And then something happened with the writer, and then we ended up writing it together.
Right.
And we spent a whole summer in his spooky mansion. And it is a spooky mansion. It's shrunken heads, and anything from the Addams Family that they sold is in Rob's house. And it's just, mummy stuff and everything. And we would just sit there every day, all summer, writing this insane, dirty cartoon.
How could you not be funny in that setting?
You're right, exactly.
By the way, notice how he glossed over the something happened to the other writer?
Yeah.
Was he ever found again?
I don't know.
Was the brake fluid dripping from his automobile? What do you mean something happened?
Something went down.
Never mind. Never you mind.
Rob is a very... Rob gets stuff done. And Rob does not waste time. Rob does not...
Appreciate people wasting his time.
Does not like going to meetings. Doesn't like BS. And if there's any of that in his orbit, he eliminates it. Right. And that's really what happened.
It's kind of nice to know that things like that going in. You don't,
It's pretty amazing. I mean, he's directed my last 2 stand-up specials.
Right.
And I really wanted to make them films. I wanted it to feel a little different than just another Comedy Central thing. which, you know, it always comes down to the jokes, really, but all around it, I figured let's have fun with it and do it. And when you have a guy like Rob, he would just, I would say, like, I want the lighting to be like this. And the producers would be like, well, I don't know if we have the money. And Rob Zombie just stands there with his arms crossed and says, no, that's what Tom wants. And there'd be an uncomfortable silence. And whenever a comic has uncomfortable silence, I always fill it with, ha ha ha. And I would just walk away because and Rob does not care about uncomfortable silence. Rob just stands there like any great director.
He lives in a house of uncomfortable silence.
Right, exactly. It's the name of his next film, Uncomfortable Silence. And he would just be badass about it and get it made and get it done.
Right.
And he's one of those guys, and when you meet directors, it's like really, there's something that they have that they just have this momentum. And have you been around people like that? They're just going to get things made. They're going to do it, and they're just like a locomotive. And
they don't need Kickstarter.
They don't need Kickstarter. Or if they do, someone else is going to go get it for them.
Yeah.
There's just, those guys are very impressive to me, and Rob is one of them.
Those people are impressive, and you just want to be a part of it also.
Yeah.
And I think that might be one of the keys to their success of moving forward is there's so little forward motion in this business that someone who creates their own will attract like their own gravitational pull.
It's impressive. I always come away thinking I sleep in too long, or maybe I don't stay up late enough. Maybe I don't write enough.
Yeah, what
am I not doing? Because I feel like I work every day, all day. I work hard, but these guys seem to get a lot more done.
Yeah. Yeah, they become a little frustrating, quite frankly, when they accomplish that much so easily. We have some fans watching or listening live, and they write questions designed specifically for the guest. We've given this little section of the show a name. We call it Tweet 5.
T5, T5, T5 forever now.
Yeah, so they asked sometimes, did you have Dave Koechner come in and record that for you? No. We asked him a second Tweet 5, and he went into that.
Well, if I recall, he said it reminded him, Tweet 5 reminded him of a song or something that his kids were listening to. if memory serves.
So then he stole that song from an existing thing, and now we use it?
Well, yeah. It was a play on something that he was listening to because of his kids.
As long as you don't say that story live on the air, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I think parody law, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. These 5 questions are designed for you.
Tweet 5.
By @CCullen405. It's 5 rapid-fire questions, this or that, Coke or Pepsi, no correct answer. Ready?
Ready.
Paramus Park or Garden State Plaza?
Garden State Plaza.
That's correct.
Correct, continue. Matthew's Diner or Tom Sawyer Diner?
Tom Sawyer.
Also correct. Matt or Michael?
Matt.
Conan or Letterman?
Letterman.
East or West Coast? Wow.
East.
You know what? You got 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Woo.
I felt it was going to happen.
Hit that ball deep.
I'm also from North Jersey. That's why I
Are
can
you?
back you up on this first, too.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
I lived right next to the Garden State Plaza when I graduated college.
Wow,
right next to it. And
But
from
back
Thanksgiving until Christmas,
But back then,
I
it
could
wasn't
not get to my house.
the monster that it is now. Have you seen it recently?
Oh, yeah, now it's special.
It's ridiculous.
Jamie and I rented a car and drove to Paramus. Ask me why.
Why?
They opened up a Bobby's Burger Palace.
Bobby's Burger Palace.
Oh, your boy, Bobby.
Bobby Flay opened up these burger joints.
Oh.
You can get them, what do you get it? Chipified?
What's that? Crunchified.
Crunchified. Puts potato chips in the burger.
Ah,
Just
clever.
to fuck with you.
I
That's
was
worth-
mostly going for, he has all these fancy flavors of milkshakes,
Yeah.
and there's a pistachio
Oh
flavored
boy,
milkshake.
look out.
That's pretty badass.
We talked recently about, on your Sirius radio program, also called Come to Papa? Sure.
4 episodes. You can't waste that name on 4 episodes.
No. You don't want to give that away.
No. So I put it into a radio show.
I love how you're doing it in New York for a while. on a weekly basis.
See.
And then you decide to do once a month, I'll do these live shows
See.
where I will write a 40 to 55 page script,
See.
because that'll be easy
Mm-hmm.
to do on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it isn't that difficult to do because you have a
You've only got
a
two
deadline.
kids. You've only got 2 kids.
Well, yeah,
So
but
there's
you, there is that. But no, honestly, I love it. I like the Garrison Keillor
Yeah.
model, and I always thought it would be great to put it in the hands of comedians. Like, what would that be like? And so I started doing them last fall. And
Almost a year now.
yeah, almost a year. And I'm going to do one October 8th at the Improv here in LA.
Really?
Yeah. And that'll be the first West Coast one. And I'm doing one on the 24th in New York. And so that'll be close. It'll be 2 weeks between the two of them.
You have to write a new 50
Yeah, and I
script.
write the script because we come in and we do classic radio, scenes and stuff. And then, so yeah, the script comes out to about 45 pages. But I really feel like if you have a deadline, once that deadline starts creeping up, like now I know, I have till the 24th and I have till the 8th. And I'm loosely like trying to think of a theme, each one's thematic, and I'm trying to think, what am I going to do with it? But it's really like that week and a half out, then it starts to click in and then you write it. And you just know you're going on air, so it's going to happen. You'll finish it.
Mm.
And it really is a great lesson because it's all in the rewriting. I mean, writing is always in, you have to go back. You just got to get it done. And there's always that thing when I'm writing, just kind of, who cares? I'll just kind of feel it and find it. And I never get to the end of anything. But here, I have to get to the end, and then I just start, then I've got 3 days to just rewrite.
I love to rewrite.
Yeah.
That's why I throw up any first draft. I don't give a shit what happens in any scene.
That's a hard thing to do,
Because you're
though.
going to have to rewrite the shit out of it anyway, so why are you killing yourself on this first draft?
But that's what kills a lot of people's creativity is getting that attitude to get through to the end stops you from making anything. That's a good attitude to have. So, yeah, I love them, and they're great. And, look,
Well,
I'm
other
writing,
people should say they're great. I'm not sure you should say they're great.
they're great to do.
I see.
I've never listened to them. I don't hear people listening to them, but I'm having fun doing it while I'm waiting to be on TV again. And, no, but yeah, I write 45-page scripts, but, you walk in, they only have to be so good, because I walk in, and then I give the script to
the people you've
Jim
had
Norton and
do them.
Joel McHale and
Matt Damon, your buddy Matt Damon
did one, and Amy Schumer and John Mulaney and David Tell. And you give these guys a script. This is the great thing about putting comedians in any kind of comedic acting thing. Especially in front of an audience. They're not going to die.
No way.
They will not stand up there, and because my writing's lame, they're not going to take a bullet and just die. They're going to do whatever they have to make it funny. So sometimes the whole thing gets blown up into something different. A lot of times they just add a little, but they're going to kill it. So I write this thing as good as I can get it, and then they make it, that much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I had John Mulaney on, and he just, SNL, and
We love him.
John's great. He's great.
His first pilot starring,
Yeah.
and he managed to get Marty Short to play a supporting role,
And Elliot Gould.
and Elliot Gould,
Produced by Lorne Michaels.
and produced by Lorne Michaels, who is
NBC. He's all comedy.
and still didn't go.
Didn't go. It just shows.
I believe Fox ordered an additional script on it.
Yeah. Right. It's still kind of alive.
It's still lingering.
Still lingering. But yeah, I know. When I did the first Come to Papa pilot, I just was in that bubble and wrote, and I sat down. We shot the pilot. It went great. I'm like, my parents came out from New Jersey. We're like, oh, we're going to be on TV. And then we saw the rest of the stuff they had to shoot. And I was like, oh, they're shooting other people's stuff. And that year it was like Whoopi Goldberg and Jeff Goldblum, and it was a list of these A-list people. I was like, oh.
We have no chance.
We have no chance. And then you realize, oh, they don't have a chance either. No one has a chance. Lauren Michaels
Right.
and Martin Short with this new fresh guy.
Mulaney's unbelievable. His stand-up special recently.
He's really...
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he says it himself. He looks 14, so you just can't believe
He's such a good writer.
Oh my goodness.
And
He is still super young, though. He's, I think, 30, maybe 31.
Oh,
they
he's
say
younger
he's
than I am.
31, but I really think he's like 46. I think he lies about his age. He's not as impressive as people make him out to be.
Yeah.
No, he's really great. But I mean, I gave him the script in doing the radio show, and you know, he works at SNL. He's a killer over there. He's since left, but you gave him the script, and just in the fly, he was just, each line was just an upgrade times 10. You know,
Right.
It's so funny. So yeah, so I'm really enjoying doing them. You should come on. You should come on and do some voices.
Well, it's on the record now that you've invited me, and the answer is yes.
You want to do October 8th?
Yes.
All right, good.
Unless it's a Tuesday night.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is.
I do. Why Tuesday's the perfect day? Because comedians are around.
Which is why I made my weekly poker game Tuesday night.
Of course. Of course.
I don't know. I might have to move the game to Wednesday because I really would love to do one.
I would love it.
Yeah.
It would be great.
I mean, I have that ability to
All right.
to move it.
You're the king of the game.
Well, it's at my house. Talk about a thing you just mentioned, which is the comedians, and then Sammy, I think it might be time for Who Tweeted.
All right. I'm ready.
The comedians take things to another level. It's so fucking true.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so like when I did, I think Casino is when all these comedians, even one of the Smothers Brothers is hired. And Barry Levinson puts a comedian in every single one of his movies. Dennis Miller in Disclosure, Paul Reiser in Diner, Jackie Gale in Tin Men. You got Robert Wool in Good Morning Vietnam on
Right. Robin Williams.
separate from the Robin Williams.
Right.
Me and Avalon, Dennis Leary in Wag a Dog. He's always got a comedian in one of his films. And Soderbergh with The Informant, which I just loved,
Yeah.
put 40 comedians.
A lot of comedians.
It was fantastic, right?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And when you get a call to go just read for this thing at the and I show up, and it's just you usually walk in on these serious things, and you're the only guy. You don't know anybody. And all the actors are like buddying with each other, like, hey, good to see you again, because they do it all the time. And you walked in, and it was just all comics pacing with their scripts in the hallway. I was like, what's going on here? And
They want to kill us all?
yeah, right, exactly. And you know, The Informant is pretty much a straight script, but Soderbergh felt like everybody in it was it was such a bizarre thing. He didn't want to treat it with this gravitas that it wouldn't kind of play right. And he said, but every comic has a quirky energy to them. Everyone has this different.
Because they're all trying to be unique.
Or just maybe it's natural. Whatever it is, it's off. Everyone's off center, and it will make the whole film and the story of this deceptive thing that this guy's doing be off center. And he just cast all these great people. And I was on set one day, and Tommy Smothers played my father, and for a couple scenes. And he came in the first day. We've been doing it for maybe a month, and he came in with the script, and this is Tommy Smothers, you know, like a god to anybody funny. And he comes walking up to me with the script, and he's in makeup. We're about to shoot the scene, and he goes, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" "You sure?" "Is this a comedy?" I'm like, "What?" It doesn't read like a comedy. Are we supposed to be funny? I said, "No, I don't think." He thinks it's funny. I said, "But just read it like a straight actor."
The director thinks
The director thinks it's funny. And it kind of comes off.
Oh, it's funny.
It's funny.
Oh, it's funny.
But we all played it super straight.
Matt
And that's what
Damon
makes it funny.
Matt Damon.
Completely.
That year I said he gets nominated and wins. That's how extraordinary I thought Matt Damon was in that film. Because that fine line that his character in particular had to walk. You had to be emotionally engaged on a dramatic level and then understand how wildly funny this performance was.
He didn't get nominated, but he did get a letter
Get to work again.
from Gene Hackman. From Gene Hackman saying that was one of the best performances he had seen in, I don't know, 10 years or something. And for Matt, that was like...
Better than any nomination.
Better.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yeah. He was blown away. And that was like his thing that he took away from it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, pretty great. No, it was awesome. And then I did, so then I became friendly with all these guys, and then I got a text one night in bed from Steven Soderbergh saying, I'm putting you in the gayest movie of all time. I said, great.
Did you?
And I
Did
tried,
you?
And I tried to sleep. I just went, great. And then I woke up and texted him, what do I have to do? And then he gave me the role in Candelabra. And it was the gayest movie of all time. I got to wear gay
Welcome
clothes.
to Mooseport.
Mooseport. And
Speaking of Gene Hackman, last
movie.
picture.
yeah, last picture.
Yep.
Mooseport.
We're very upset.
Going out
about
on
it.
top.
We're very upset about it.
Right.
Because his performance, as I say ad nauseum in The Royal Tenenbaums, is arguably one of the best comedic performances of the last 25
Oh my
years.
God.
It's untouchable.
Yeah, amazing.
He was even great in that silly Heartbreakers movie. Like
Yes.
he made the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birdcage?
So good.
Birdcage?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's Jim Fox's favorite Gene Hackman role of all time, is him in Birdcage.
By the way, his
God.
performance in fucking Bonnie and Clyde is hysterical.
Yeah.
He's unstoppable, this guy.
I
He's
know.
never been anything but great.
Yeah, so great.
So, yeah, so
So I think he wrote me a letter too, but I never got it. I'm hard to find.
sure. It's you and Bill Murray. There's an 800 number. So,
Very elusive.
let's talk about the Candelabra a little bit. Because I imagine you read that script and you say, this is a comedy? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's written pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is pretty straight. You know, I think that you're not playing it for straight out comedy, but there's funny elements to it.
Yeah.
But you couldn't treat it as this big over the top thing. You know, you got a sense from everybody on it, especially Michael Douglas and Matt, that you had a responsibility to not make this cartoonish. For the gay community, for Liberace and that inner circle, you know, you can easily make that clowny and be another bunch of straight guys having a laugh at a gay man's struggle at that time. It could very easily be offensive.
But
Everybody
you got to
had-
know Soderbergh's never going to let that happen.
No, not at all. But there's still humor to it. So there's that kind of trick of how you've got to be funny in the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there are like little funny moments and things that happen, but you quickly, because everyone was so dedicated to just making it right, the audience knew what you were making fun of.
And it turns out the guy, though, Thorson,
Scott Thorson.
Thorson. Did you hear him on O&A? What did you hear him on? He turned
Yeah,
total piece of shit, right? Just
yeah,
an awful, horrible piece of shit.
yeah. He was knocking around New York. I remember hearing that he was around.
And then you start to feel like, oh, we told
It was
his
him and
story.
like, well, because it's like him being sponsored by the guy that owns the Bunny Ranch, and they're like
Yeah.
going around trying to like make a quick dime off.
Well,
of
he
it.
got him out of jail.
Right.
When it came out, he was in jail for check fraud or credit card
Yes.
fraud or something like that, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And and the Bunny Ranch guy brought him out.
Because he's got that kind of juice at the jail?
The bunny guy?
What does that even mean? The Bunny Ranch guy got him out.
I don't know. That's,
Maybe he
that's-
Free
Make
tickets,
that.
everybody.
I did,
let my fella go.
I did a show at Harrah's, I think it is, in Tahoe, and I do my stand-up act, and a lot of it, if you're not familiar with it, is a lot about my wife and my children and families, and you don't get a vibe, you don't get a
Sexy?
sexy vibe off of this guy, and he's not very immoral. And I come off stage, and there's the Bunny Ranch guy, who I guess it's not that far from the Bunny Ranch in Tahoe, wherever those states meet up. And he's there with two girls, and he's like, I got a car, let's go. I'll take you to the ranch. I'm like, I don't think so. I was going to go up, watch Breaking Bad in my room, and try not to get in trouble. So, way high up on the road. And he could not understand.
Yeah.
Like, I was the first guy to say no to him. That I wasn't going to go up to the Bunny Ranch and do what? With who? On what cable show?
I also love I got a car.
Right, it's outside.
Because that's what the deal breaker was for you. Wait a second. You brought two girls. You got a car?
Right.
Because I don't know how I'm going to get there.
You guys can sit in the back seat?
Yeah.
But the vibe you get from that guy is, you know. He's
Not-
going to be the guy that's going to get Scott Thorson out.
Right.
He's going to get it done. You don't have to know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
At SassyGirl09 offers up this tweet 5.
T5.
Can't stop it.
T5.
You'd think you'd just do it the once,
forever now.
and then you'd be covered for all T5s to follow. Ready?
It's the best.
5, rapid fire. Are these written for me or for you? Pollock Walken or real Walken?
Pollock Walken.
Such pressure. John, Jon, or Kate?
John?
Writing or acting?
Acting.
And now the real Sophie's choice, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What are we, British? Jesus, what kind of a
Tea.
question is that? And also, John and Kate, wasn't that the TV show? John and Kate plus 8?
I think
and
so.
then it got trimmed down to Kate plus 8 because of the horrible divorce?
There might be a
This was also like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
There might be a reference to my IMDb page, which for some reason has me down as a writer of one episode of John and Kate plus 8.
Well, that's got to be it.
Me and Maria Bamford are both listed as a writer of this episode. I don't know if they walked through the through the improv while we were on, or what happened. All I know is I wasn't paid, and I can't get it off my page.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing how you cannot get stuff removed
I
sometimes.
cannot, and I also can't get actor or comedian in front of writer. If you come up, I can't do that either.
Yeah.
White people's problems.
Tell me about it.
Lastly, football or talk show, ha-ha, trick question.
Football or talk show?
Ha-ha, trick question.
Ha-ha, trick question. Does that mean we're supposed to be watching football now, but we're watching this talk show?
I think it might be that kind of slap in the face. I hadn't done the math, but that makes complete and total sense. Jamie says yes, Sammy says no.
I think the answer is good one.
Yes, the answer is good one. And our standby, if I may, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I think in the eye like Mo Green while you're at it. Sammy, it feels like who tweeted. I sense that I have a fierce player here.
I would not disagree with you. I think this is going to be a hell of a round.
You enjoyed the Twitter on occasion.
I like the Twitter.
You're about to learn your new favorite game, even more so than one-word impression. Sammy, tell us how it goes.
Here we go. Roll the thing.
Celebrities have so much to say.
Who tweeted?
Is the game we're gonna play.
We really need to update that graphic.
Don't you think?
Bieber
I
is
like the
looking-
graphic.
He's looking a lot like Demi. Okay. The game is Who Tweeted. So here's how it goes. One at a time, I'm going to read a series of 8 tweets. Now, all of these tweets were authored by either Tyra Banks, Paris Hilton, or Justin Bieber. Are you
Excited
familiar
already?
with these 3 people?
Yeah, no one follows these people, by the way, so it's not like I know this shit and you don't.
Okay.
So I'll begin reading a tweet. As soon as you feel that you know who wrote it, you ring in by saying your name. I'll point to you. Whoever rings in first, you get 3 seconds to say either.
Oh, it's a
Tyra-
competition.
Yes, you're playing against Kevin. It's either Tyra, Paris, or Bieber. You ring in, you get it right, you get yourself 5 points. You ring in, you get it wrong, you lose 3. Once someone rings in, whether they answer correct or not, after that we move on.
So much pressure.
At the end of 8 tweets,
A lot of rules, too.
the winner of Who Tweeted will be walking away with this sweet Andy Jackson. Wow. That's right.
We're not fucking around.
I've done more thinking in the last 20 seconds than I did all week.
And we haven't even started.
With children. Are you ready to play, Tom?
Yes.
That's the correct answer already. What'd you get for that?
He
Tom.
gets- I will write his
Tom,
name.
Tom.
Tweet number 1. What a beautiful day in Milan.
Tom.
I love. 3 seconds.
Tyra.
Oh,
Paris.
Sorry, no. It was Paris.
Milan.
Oh, sure.
I don't. You never know. You never know. You never know.
That's true. Jamie does select these so that it isn't obvious. She's
Very tricky.
Yes.
Tweet number 2.
I spent a whole 15 minutes on it.
Should we wait till it's completed until we yell our names?
It helps. It
Okay.
helps. But I mean, as soon as you feel like you know. Thank you at Harvey Levin TMZ for all your kind words today. I really appreciate it.
Kevin, Bieber.
Incorrect.
Tom.
We are tied at 3. I'm sorry, Tom. It's over. He answered incorrectly. He
Yeah,
lost
you don't
3
have to
points.
follow it up, but we both have -3, so that's awesome.
Yeah, you're tied in the negatives. That was Paris, by the way. That was Paris.
How do I look on the show? I haven't been able to see myself.
Oh, you look fabulous.
Okay.
Can we
I'm
all
looking
say
at it right now.
fuck
You look
Harvey
great.
Levin
Me,
in
I
the
look
eye
like the
Mo
ghost
Green
of
also?
me. But
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna-
just the monitor. It
Tweet.
looks much worse on the computer.
Tweet number 3. news! I got a mosquito bite on my neck, and it is really itchy.
Tom! Bieber!
That is correct!
Oh, finally.
Oh.
It took 3 questions.
I am impressed, sir.
+2 to -3. Go.
I didn't know if I remembered that or dreamt it.
Tweet number 4. I have a friend crush on @Bourdain.
Kevin, Paris.
Ooh, sorry, no.
Negative.
Tom!
Nope, it's over, Tom. It was Tyra. It was Tyra. Tweet number 5. We working today.
Tom! Bieber!
That is correct. A commanding +7 to -6 lead. Kevin, embarrassing tweet number 6.
Tweet number 6
How
is
many are
embarrassing.
there?
There are 8 total. Does anyone else need a pair of scissors and a knife to open an easy open package?
Tom! Paris!
Oh, I'm sorry. You were running so well.
So cocky. I got cocky.
It's all right. That's all right. It was Tyra. Come on, Kevin. Get back in the game. Tweet number 7.
Who are you rooting for?
A close game.
He's +4, I'm -6.
That is correct. Oh, is this the first time you've not kept score to check on me?
Great.
I'm much obliged, sir.
Now
Thank
there's-
you for trusting me to do math.
Now there's
Tweet
math.
number 7.
You got 2 Jews here. You're fine.
19
Practically an
days
accounting
until my
firm.
new single, Good Time, is released.
Kevin Bieber.
October 1st. No! Paris, my friend!
That's how she gets you.
It's, every
Very
time.
tricky.
Every
Because
time.
Paris has a new single.
would have-
Every
course.
time. Well, at this point, the
I was like,
eighth
what was the
and
name
final-
of the Paris single? Coming out October 1st?
Good Time.
You've heard of that, Kenny, right?
Good time.
Paris' new single dropping?
Good Time.
Sweating. I'm sweating.
Well, it's
You
all
can't
right,
lose,
really. At
actually.
this point, you can't lose. The eighth
Congratulations.
and utterly useless final tweet
Still sweating.
just gave the most important and honest interview of my life. 3 hours of everything.
And that, of course, was Paris.
This may be the worst you've ever done, Kevin. That was Bieber. So
Everyone
with a
knows that's
score of
Bieber.
+4 to -12, our winner
That's the Bieber opening up moment.
and today's champion of Who Tweeted, Mr. Tom Papa. That is how you play, ladies and gentlemen.
Real money.
Right there.
Real.
Celebrities have so much to say.
Who tweeted?
Is the game that we just played.
Had Alec Baldwin on your serious show, Come to Pump.
Alec Baldwin came to my apartment in the same Hole in the Wall gang charity, back to the beginning of the interview story with Nathan Lane.
Well, we're coming full circle.
Alec Baldwin was there. This is the backstage, by the way, at that gig. I'm sitting there, Nathan Lane, and Itzhak Perlman, and me.
It's the new Mount Rushmore.
Right. What is happening? So Alec asked me to go do the thing for him. I said, sure. I said, I'd love to get you on my show sometime. He says, that would be great. And he gave me his phone number and assumed that I would just
Leave him alone.
leave him alone,
Yeah.
and didn't stop for a year. And then he moved into my neighborhood in New
You
York.
didn't stop for a year?
I didn't stop hounding him for a year.
That's what it takes, people. You kids out there with your own podcast.
Every once in a while.
You got to keep at it.
I had to change my phone number because we were tweeting each other and thought it was private, and it was on the public feed, and woke up the next morning to phone calls and
You
all the
gave
rest.
him your phone number and what you thought was a direct message.
Yeah.
That was fun for you.
It's a good story, though. Why'd you change your number? Alec Baldwin tweeted it. I just hounded him, and then he moved into my neighborhood in the Village,
Sure.
and
The village of.
Greenwich, and in New York. And I caught him coming out of a yoga class.
Sure.
He's all sweaty. Alec, hey. And you gonna do my show? Ah, shit. Yeah. All right, I'll do your show. So he actually was a man of his word, and he came to my apartment and did the interview. He was great.
Yeah,
A lot more intimidating than I thought he would be.
sure.
And but very forthcoming and very great to talk to. He was very hilarious. and
Annoyingly
stuff.
smart.
The only bad part about it
Snafu.
was at the end of the interview, we take a picture.
Sure.
So we'll be able to tweet when it goes out.
And he said, yeah, I'm not
just so
doing
I could have it.
I'm not doing that.
And he's totally up for doing it. And he leaves, and I check my phone to look at the picture. And I was like, oh, this is why I will never be a leading man. Because there is a movie star in this picture looking at the camera with this aura and this handsome man next to a hobbit, next to a hairy
A thumb.
comedian.
A thumb on a shirt.
Just awful. I was so depressed because I was trying to look good in the shot.
Were you?
I was leaning in, chin up.
You lose 10 pounds? Gain 10 pounds.
I did everything I had to do, and I did not. I was like, oh,
Really, you
guy.
thought you were going to go toe to toe like we just did?
I don't have in my head. I have a different image of what I am.
Isn't that remarkable? Do you ever pass a reflecting device every now and then, otherwise known as a mirror, and think, whoa, that's not at all what I've been looking through my eyes, thinking
Exactly.
what people were saying.
I have a very
What
different
is that
image.
fucking pumpkin in the reflecting device?
Exactly.
Looking back
That
at
is
me.
awful. Someone found an old headshot of mine. We were moving out of our apartment, and one of my first headshot has me in a vest.
Sure.
White shirt and a vest, and all my friends are having a good laugh, and my wife, how ridiculous, and about this little sweet boy in a vest. And I remember when I was wearing that vest in those headshots, I thought I was Bruce Springsteen.
Did you have a composite for commercials? Were you
No.
ever forced to do that?
No.
Okay.
The tennis car
Tennis
driver,
is one of mine.
Race car driver.
This is another one. Pizza in the air.
Pizza.
Also, fishing pole.
No.
Tackle.
No.
Sure.
Not bagpipes.
There was the tennis racket, and then the fourth one, I think I was in a phone booth.
Of course, getting stuff done. Getting stuff done.
Like this.
Because it was down to you and
Just saw Superman.
David Spade for those 1-800-COLLECT commercials from the 90s, right?
Oh, this was before there was a David Spade, I promise.
If only I had me in a phone booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you think you look pretty good in those when you're going through the contact sheet and picking out the fish one and the thing.
Oh, I turned down a lot of the other ones, absolutely, before I nailed down those four, because there was a fireman one, I think.
Oh, God.
There's always a Jewish fireman somewhere in the building.
I can't even imagine you in a fireman's getup.
It's hilarious.
That's why I still have it, because I made that up. There was no fireman photo. It's just funny to me that I would be in the hat. You know,
With the boots.
The soot.
And the boots.
And then they'll hire me from that.
All right.
Because that was it was such a scam. The thing was, you landed here, like Plymouth Rock, you go to the Improv, George Wallace drives you to your car.
Right.
These are the things that first happen
I'd be
when you
thinking-
land.
They're handing out pilots on your.
They're handing out pilots like in Swingers. And then the guy says, you know, I'll do your headshots. You need a composite shot. Why,
Sure.
What are you talking about? Well, commercials. You want commercials, don't you? They pay a lot. Sure. Who doesn't want a composite shot? And then you go to the day, and he says, all right, put this, go in.
Oh, so brutal.
With a pie in the air. There's a pie in the air. I actually had to throw the dough 67 times to get the right.
I think we got it.
Do you?
I got another spin in me. So I always think I'm.
Well, let's talk about how you put a year in on the Alec Baldwin. The thing is, I often.
Subtly.
Well, you know, I think it's pretty fantastic to somehow not have to deal with agents and managers and publishers, oh my, and book your show or my show or any of these shows. And have that direct contact. It seems like the only way to get these things done. Because the gatekeepers, anytime you've ever dealt with them, they're like, what is it?
Yeah.
Is it on what is it on?
Right, exactly.
Do you have to crank up a Victrola? How do I hear the...
Right.
But that means every time you see someone who represents a Bigfoot,
Right.
you have to say, would you do...
Would you?
Yeah.
I know.
And then your brain can never be present again.
Yeah, it's also what kind of a guy you are. You know, you're a cool guy. People like you. It's sure. I'd love to do it. I heard about it. Like, yeah, of course. I'd like to be asked.
This is what you tell yourself in the morning?
No, I mean that's what I'm saying for you. I mean,
And then for you...
and then for me, you just got to be annoying. You got to be annoying and don't stop.
By the way, that's how I feel every time.
Right.
It's annoying.
Is annoying.
Every time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little tricky.
And by the way, how
But
many,
it's so-
it sounds good, let me see if do you get before you just write the person off? You give me a couple.
You know what it is? If it's outside of comedy, then it's 2 no's, or all right, let it go. Like I had Frank Rich from the New York Times,
Good God.
and doing Veep, and all that. Love him. I read everything that he writes. He's so smart. Now he's in this comedy. I know Julia from doing her show, and we kind of circled around, and then it got pushed off to the publicist, and then it was like, all right, well, I'm not going to keep going after. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know me at all.
Right.
So that was, I got to kind of let go.
Yeah.
But people that are closer, like in the orbit somewhere,
Right.
you know, right now I have Seth Meyers through Neil Brennan, funny comedian, good friend, they write, and he came to me with it. He gave me his phone number and said I would love to do it through Neil. So every once in a while I just pop off a tick, kind of like sexting, and just be like, hey, what's up? And it started before he got the new gig, and his life is, I'm sure, in overdrive and changing going into this late night show. But he's gone, he's not responding. I know he's busy and stuff, but I figure he's still in the comedy world enough where every 6 months I'll give him a little, what are you wearing? It'll happen.
Yeah.
But it is a little annoying. But I don't think...
But don't you still take pride in knowing that you're not dealing with the gatekeepers?
Yeah, for
Still
sure.
better, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're at was it the Cellar that you and Jerry first meet?
Yeah,
Mr. Seinfeld?
Stand Up New York and the
Stand Up New York
Cellar.
and the
This
Cellar.
1 week he showed up. Each time I was on stage, he walked in. He was checking out the scene before he was going up on stage.
Uh-huh.
He was taking a lay
Do a
of the
little
land.
recon.
Yeah, before he jumped back in. And I happened to be on stage each time that he came in. And I would see him walk in, because there was buzz that he was around. It was
Crazy.
right off the show. And you'd just see that ball cap come in to the room.
The series had just ended after its ridiculously successful run.
Yeah, so everyone was really buzzing.
Had he just moved back, or he had moved back before?
He had moved back for a bit before
Right.
he went back to stand up.
Sure, but it was a major sighting.
Major sighting. All the comics were like, why is he here? Why isn't he going on? Why is he just sitting in the back? And I would see him come in, and I didn't want to repeat material in front of him. Like, I want him to know how good I am.
Sure.
By just throwing other stuff up. And then one time I walked off, and you're very funny. I was like, oh,
That's a quote, by the way.
yeah. And we just started talking about comedy and had the same sense of humor. And then he didn't really know a lot of guys in New York at the time.
Right.
All you guys, they'd all gone on. So it was, all he knew was Colin Quinn.
Right.
And we were all friends with Colin. And we just kind of hit it off and had the same sense of humor. And I just tried not to annoy him too much. And he let me hang out with him.
And then you go on the road a little bit.
Yeah, then he was going to do his first stuff on the road, going to Rascals and Governors in Long Island, and asked if I would go open for him. And then he was this was all gonna go to theaters. And I said, I'd never played one of those theaters before. He's like, oh, we're gonna change that. And then we flew up to Rochester, New York in his plane, and went out in this giant theater. And yeah, I started opening for him. And it was, as a comedian, it was such a godsend. Because he was of my ilk. He operated in a way that I was crudely operating. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't...
Sure.
Some guys work, like, if Dave Chappelle came along, I would have been so excited to work with him as well, but I wouldn't really... His lessons wouldn't really apply to my life very much. But Jerry, the way Jerry writes, the way Jerry carries himself, the way he deals with his family.
Also the tone and temp of his act.
Yeah, all of that really,
Yeah.
really, it was the right guy to learn from. It was a stroke of luck that I had a mentor like that was so, I was so in rhythm with.
Yeah.
And I learned a ton from that guy. A ton.
Oh, ridiculous.
Ridiculous amount of
No,
learning.
he was, 30-something years ago when he first came through San Francisco, maybe 32, 33 years ago, and I was a wee lad, and he was Yoda already.
Yeah.
Not kidding.
Right.
Like he had done 10 Tonight shows, and
Right.
Johnny loved him, and he was a made man, but he was so far evolved into, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember someone at Hilarities, Nick, the guy who runs Hilarities
Nick,
in Cleveland.
the greatest. Everyone loves Nick. There's no way not.
No. My mother loves Nick.
And more
Oh, yeah?
specifically,
Yeah,
Julia
yeah.
Kay is a big fan.
I was just there.
Brings him chocolates.
But yeah,
She
that's
does.
great. I can
It's
see
very
that.
cute.
Yeah.
He said that the same thing. Like way before the show, he was walking on stage as a rock star. But I mean, I just learned so much. I mean, just not only about how to be a comedian, but just how to live your life in this business, and just to go about this. You enter this place with no rules, and he's a guy that created structure and created rules for himself and how to operate, which was very helpful at the time I met him. Was very helpful.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of adrift.
Absolutely. Well, you should be proud and thrilled with the fact that your own style, your own material, your own performance ability landed you these otherwise seemingly impossibly golden, once-in-a-lifetime things we've talked about, like
Right.
the Conan shot on the NBC thing and the Seinfeld knighting.
Uh-huh.
That just doesn't happen unless he sees you and they see you and they go, well, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't. Are you able to take that solace?
No. 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 I mean, once in a while I'll sit back and think, it's strange the people that are in my phone. You know?
Yeah.
Because
O&A give you shit about the big movie star friends.
right, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often think that that's kind of strange, but I don't, another big thing that I learned from being around Jerry, which he was not teaching me, but that I gleaned, was it made me very comfortable to meet other people. Because I met Jerry when he was the biggest thing in the planet.
Yeah.
And I was trying to play it cool, but he made me feel like you learn quickly, oh, this is just a guy. This is just a comedian. This is a guy from Long Island, basically, who's a comic. And if you're just cool and you're not obnoxious and you're just yourself, you can kind of be around these people. And I don't know. You know, I don't see it as a talent thing. I see it as a social thing a lot. I'm
sure NBC saw on Conan and thought he'd be fun to hang out with.
No, I get that, but I don't feel that.
Well, it's probably important that you don't.
Yeah.
It's better that I say it and you disagree. That's the best case scenario.
Right.
In fact, it's on your permanent record.
Right.
Yeah.
Add it to Wikipedia.
Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner.
Guests on Come to Papa?
Yeah.
Man, both of them devastating. Devastatingly impressive. Again, one of those guys that you meet and you think, I got to take more vitamins. I walked into Carl Reiner's house.
In his 90s.
In his 90s. And he brings me into his house, brings me upstairs to his office.
Without an elevator.
No elevator. Walk up the thing. Just a lovable human being, showing me all the paintings that his wife had painted. And you go into his little office. And there he is. It's like a cornered, like an L-shaped little desk. Books all around. Some awards, but you don't even recognize them. It's just all, just an office, just a packed office. And a little L-shaped thing, and there's a window out there. And he's on this big computer, writing his book, writing another book at 90-something, which I think is now out.
Right.
He's writing his book, but he'll take time to talk to me, and he turns and he's telling me stories. And, oh yeah, right, this is where I wrote the first 12 Dick Van Dykes by myself. And I used to look out this window, and there was a girl down there at the pool, and the neighbor, and I would look at her, and I wrote the first 12 Dick Van Dyke shows. No writer's room, this brain, just sitting in there. And by the time you leave, you're this big, waddling out with your microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Reiner.
Thank you, Mr. Reiner. It's really great to meet you. And then, but he's such a playful, he's one of those guys, both of them are they never lose that fun, like, kid thing of being a comic. Like, I'm with my sound guy, and we were leaving, and he's there with his manager, and
George
Shapiro. And they walk us out, and it's in Beverly Hills, and as soon as we get on the front steps, they're closing the door, and just so we can hear it, what a bunch of assholes. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
You go to Mel Brooks' office, which is like in the Sony lot or something, and it's just this place has much more character than his office. It's an office where you would go for like to fill out an insurance form or something. It's fluorescent lights. It's black. They didn't change the paint on the wall. It's just an office. And there's a girl out front working at this bad desk from Office Depot, and you sit there and there's this genius behind this little desk, this little crummy desk, and he's talking. But then you start to slowly realize the little, oh, there's a thing from Blazing Saddles. There's a thing from Young Frankenstein. There's a thing on his thing about the producers. There's a box set from all of his movies. Then there's all of his serious movies, like he did the Elephant Man, Brooks Films. He did all these serious films that he didn't want anyone to know because he didn't want to think it was funny. And you're just like, again, there's no BS with these guys, but playful and exciting and energetic and, impressive. Yeah, super impressive. It's kind of daunting.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Right?
Right? These are unique people. There's like strokes of luck for some people, but there's other guys that just, I said to Mel Brooks in the middle of it, he was talking about Carl Reiner, I said, do I remind you, just to be funny, I said, do I remind you a lot of Carl? He goes, you are no Carl Reiner.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it was great. But I love it. I mean, don't you love this? I love that you can sit down with people, whether you know them or you don't, and you, in an interview setting, if you're curious, you can learn so much about these people that you didn't know before. Yeah. Like I'm sure you've learned not to have me back.
And on that note, what better way to button the scene? The comedian always finds the punchline. We'll get there.
We'll get out of this.
What I did not tell you at the outset, however, is that there's a tradition here, this being show number 183.
Congratulations.
Lord.
Where you look into that camera, that'd be your camera at some point, and you will do your version of what's called the Larry King game, which works this way.
Mm-hmm.
I love that moment in Larry's show when he would share something about himself before going to the phones. And whatever he shared about himself, there wasn't a soul on the planet that needed to know it. Not one. Right. Not one who went, oh, good. I was wondering that. Uh-huh. So we have this game where you just recreate that moment. So you will do a bad Larry King impression. I can't invite someone here and expect a good one. Right. And now I'm at the point where I only want a bad one. Because that's what's funny to me. Yeah. So a bad Larry King impression, sharing something into the camera about himself and then going to the phone. And if the name of the city is funny sounding, it's not going to make it worse.
I got you.
All right?
I've been making my own kale chips. Boise.
Yes! I like it when they go original and stay out of the gutter. Yep. Why would Larry be making his own kale chips? That's the comedic mind right there, mister. We put a button on it. Thank you so much.
It's a good way to end. Thank
Honestly
you.
and truly.
Yeah, really nice.
I really, really do appreciate it. Making time for us in the middle of
Sunday.
Your Alec Baldwin phone call.
Sunday, yeah, exactly. Trying to get Seth Meyers on the phone. Thanks for the 20, too.
All right, sit there uncomfortably while I wrap things up for the folks at home and everybody listening and watching Ship to Shore. We have a post tag here.
Do we?
We do. Now that the show is over, don't forget to sign up for your free trial of Hulu Plus. Go get your trial at huluplus.com/chat. That, again, is huluplus.com/chat. What are you waiting for? Now's the time. Sammy, Jamie, thank you both.
Our pleasure.
Sammy, will you be here next Sunday?
Do we have a choice?
Ken Marino, I wouldn't miss that.
All right, don't miss Ken Marino.
Wouldn't miss Tom Papa.
Dr. Chen,
Here I am.
will we see you next week? Sonia Cabrera doing makeup today, sitting in for Samantha Ward. Josh and J-Mac getting it done out there without Justin, and the return of David Mandel, everybody's favorite intern. Oh, we love the cheap
David
labor.
the dancing intern.
David the dancing intern.
Can't wait to meet the new teleprompter guy next week.
Boom! That's why you get yourself a papa. So he can button the whole damn thing. Thanks to social media maven Elaine Ewing This, as the rumor goes, may be her last show. We'll let you know next time. It is a sad day if, in fact, that ends up being the case. But I didn't want to go without mentioning that in case it ends up being so. And on such an incredibly uplifting note, I say to you, and as always, get out of my face.